Hello, my name is Heather McInich, and today I will be giving a presentation on time theft and wage theft. I will be discussing the definitions of time theft and wage theft, as well as related laws, ethical implications of both, and the evolution of laws needed. Employee time theft is a situation of the employee stealing from the employer. Time theft is when an employee is receiving pay for work that is expected to be completed, but this work is not done. An example of this could be time clock theft, when the employee is expected to clock in at a certain time, but they arrive late, so they have a coworker or a friend clock in their time clock card for them. Another example could be excessive personal time. This could be making personal phone calls when the employee is expected to be working. Overextended breaks are another example, taking a 2-hour lunch when the employee is only given an hour, as well using sick leave inappropriately. Many employers have both personal days and sick days that the employees can use. However, it is an example of employee time theft to use a sick leave day as a personal day when the employee is not ill. Employer wage theft is when the employer is stealing from the employee. Wage theft is when an employer is not paying an employee appropriately for the work that they have done. Examples of this could be misclassification of employees, having an exempt employee completing non-exempt work, or the reverse. As well, it could be a requirement of overtime when that's not in the employee's contract. Another example could be not providing a base wage for tip-earning employees. Most laws regarding both time theft and wage theft are state-based, and case law is largely regarding wage theft and is more for the protection of the employee. California laws on wage theft. California has the Wage Theft Prevention Act of 2011. Within this act, employers must provide notice if they intend to claim lodging allowances as part of the base wage payment for their employee, and this is something that they need to indicate before the employee begins their position. As well, employers need to provide notice of how or when the employee can expect to be paid, whether this is weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, if the employee will be paid based on salary or commission. New York has the Wage Theft Prevention Act of 2010. Within this act, a few changes have been made to existing laws. Now, employer violations may be posted for up to a year for all current employees to view, and they may be posted for up to 90 days for the public to view. As well, threats against the reporting employee are now considered retaliation, and it is illegal for anyone to retaliate against the reporting employee, not just the employer. Finally, another example of a change within the Wage Theft Prevention Act of 2010 is that the Department of Labor can order the employer to pay liquidated damages of up to $20,000. Within the House of Representatives, there has been a newly proposed bill, H.R. 4763 for the 114th Congress. It is not yet passed. It was proposed by Representative Rosa DeLauro, and as of September, it's been referred to the Subcommittee on Workforce Protections. Within this bill, it is intended to amend the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, as the current law is felt to insufficiently deter employers from stealing wages. It can be seen that there are many specific laws regarding wage theft, but there are not very many specific laws regarding employee time theft. These typically fall under the general laws of theft. An example of this would be the Florida state laws for employee theft. Employee theft falls under general laws of theft, robbery, and related crimes within Chapter 812 of the 2016 Florida statutes. It really falls under just the employee taking something that does not belong to them, an example, the wages from the employer when they have not earned them. When a company or an employer commits wage theft, It is not only illegal, but it also has ethical implications. The employer is basically taking advantage of the employee for company profit. It creates an unethical company culture, which is more likely to attract employees that make unethical decisions themselves. More moral employees and those who do not behave unethically are less likely to stick around. Typically, when an employee commits time theft, there are a few consequences for them. The employee may receive a written warning. They may have a meeting with their supervisor to discuss their behavior, and in certain circumstances, the employee may be fired. When an employee is fired due to time theft, the employer suffers very much. They will have to not only fire their employee and complete all the paperwork that comes with letting an employee go, but they will now need to interview, hire, and train a new employee for that position. And you must ask yourself that although there are not very many laws against time theft, should there be? And if there should be laws, you have to really question if it's ethical for employers to seek restitution for the time theft through these laws. Should laws be adjusted to specifically encompass time theft? And is time theft actual theft, or is it a behavioral issue? If you want to implement new laws regarding time theft, what would the expected consequences be for the employee? Would you take time away from their lunch the next day if they took a 2-hour lunch? Is that ethical to prevent them from taking a lunch? Would you take time from their acquired sick leave or personal leave? If the employee had no more sick leave or personal leave, would it be ethical to dock their pay? It does seem that in many circumstances it might be ethical just to let the employee go, although it's not really providing an avenue for restitution for the employer. It is easy to see that when comparing wage theft and time theft, that the employer is less protected than the employee. Within wage theft, if the employer commits wage theft, there are many legal avenues that the employee can seek to receive restitution. But if the employee commits time theft, the employer really does not have very many options other than reprimanding the employee or letting them go to find another one. Do changes need to be made, or is the status quo the most ethical resolution? In my opinion, I do believe that when an employee commits time theft and it is time for them to be let go, although it is unfortunate for the company to have to waste resources in finding, hiring, and training a new employee, it may be best chalked up to a poor business decision to hire an employee with poor work ethic. I want to thank you for taking the time to sit with me through this presentation, and I hope you have a great day.